A West Side convenience store racked up numerous health code violations, including 10 that were repeats from a previous inspection. I stopped by this week to find out if the business had fixed the problems behind their kitchen door. Little Sam's, located in the 6800 block of Highway 90 West, saw its previous score of 85 drop to a 76. They were selling bags of ice without the proper labels, and there was a black mold-like substance in the chute of the ice machine. Raid, nail polish remover, and bleach were all found on shelves right next to granola bars and candy. Containers of food were stored on the floor. Serving tongs were stored in dirty, cloudy red water, and the employee bathroom was also being used as a storage facility. Hello. I'm with KSAT 12. Can I ask you some questions about your recent inspection? I dropped in this week to see if corrections were being made. You guys had 10 repeat violations. Have you guys made the corrections on that yet? Yeah. Okay. While he says all the violations were corrected, I noticed they did not have the current health inspection report posted as required by Metro Health. Well, you are supposed to have that posted. Taqueria Guadalajara in the 1600 block of Southwest Military Drive earned a 74 and a re-inspection. They had to throw out food that wasn't properly cooled. Raw foods were stored above ready-to-eat foods. An employee didn't wash hands when changing gloves. Another wasn't changing gloves when changing tasks. And a cook was touching food with bare hands. Vietnam restaurant in the 3200 block of Broadway got an 80 that included 5 repeat violations. Rice and chicken were left out at room temp to cool. There was no hand soap available and no hot water at the hand sink. Tools were found next to pots and pans, and they were told a back storage room was not approved for food prep. This Bahama Buck shaved ice in the 5800 block of Loop 410 was in need of a good cleaning, according to the inspector. They got an 86. Unsanitized wet blenders were stacked on top of each other near the prep area. Hot water wasn't hot enough at 2 sinks. Bags of sugar were on the floor and the ice cream wasn't covered. A detailed cleaning was needed to remove syrup splash on walls and equipment. A re-inspection was ordered to make sure the hot water was fixed and that the business was cleaned. For BKD, Tim Gerber, KSAT 12 News.
Making headlines internationally now, a massive train collision in India kills close to 300 people as hopes to find more survivors dwindles. 2 passenger trains and a freight train crashed overnight. The Associated Press reporting rescuers used torches as they broke open doors and windows to get to people trapped inside. The country's military now joining the search effort. Some 900 other people were reportedly injured in the crash. The accident has prompted renewed calls to authorities to address safety issues that have plagued the country's railways for decades.
A potentially catastrophic economic crisis has officially been averted, with President Joe Biden signing the new debt ceiling limit into law. This comes only days before the June 5th deadline, which is when the Treasury Department had warned it would no longer have money to pay the nation's bills. That would have prompted America's first ever default. This new legislation suspends the nation's debt limit through January 1st, 2025. The legislation also caps non-defense spending and expands work requirements for some food stamp recipients. The bipartisan deal was quickly rushed through Congress, with the House passing it on Wednesday and the Senate passed the bill on Thursday.
Well, whether they look good or not, those older model cars and trucks could soon be on the roads a lot longer than their owners had initially anticipated. Folks are now deciding to keep their old cars longer. A recent study showed the average age of small vehicles on the road is 12.5 years old. The Night Team's Patty Santos finds out there are plenty of reasons people are holding on to their car keys.
Mobile mechanic Juan Salazar has been in business for 15 years. These days, he says repair work is revving up.
All my work has been like probably double.
He gets nearly 30 calls a day. It started with the pandemic when new and used vehicle prices began to climb.
You say, okay, you know what? I mean, it's already paid off, so might as well just fix it and keep it for another couple of years.
12.5 years. That's how long the average car is on the road, according to a study by S&P Global Mobility.
One of the fastest increases we've seen since the Great Recession in 2008-2009 timeframe.
Todd Campo says the trend might stick around.
In 2028, we expect that there's going to be over 122 million vehicles over that 12 years of age, which is about 40% of our vehicle fleet that will sit beyond 12 years of age.
His study points to the economy and durability as reasons owners won't let go.
The consuming public is just realizing that not only are we in a situation where we need to keep our vehicles on the road longer, but they are actually surviving okay. They're still usable, they're still safe.
For those who intend to keep their investments for longer than 12 years, Salazar says routine maintenance will do the trick.
Treat it like a baby, like that, it lasts longer.
Patty Santos, KSAT 12 News.
Love my old Volkswagen. Coming up, if you frequently store money on pay platforms like Venmo and PayPal, you could be at risk of losing it. While a lot of banks offer to protect your money that those pay platforms don't.
And working from home coming to end for some Meta employees. How soon they'll be reporting back to the office for work. Well, it's popular and a convenient way to pay, but federal regulators are warning people not to store cash on platforms like PayPal or Venmo. According to a statement released by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's director, more people are using these apps to keep their money. Some are even having their paychecks directly deposited to the apps. But unlike traditional banks, these platforms are not insured by the federal government. So if they go under, there's no recourse and the money is gone. The Financial Technology Association admits that's true, but points out it's unlikely the services would collapse. But the CFPB says billions of dollars are at risk.
The company Meta wants its workers back in the office. Starting September 5th, employees assigned to an office will work there in person 3 days a week. Those who are designated as remote workers can keep that status. Meta, which owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, says the updated policy right now not set in stone.
All right, switching gears, heading back outside with live cam tonight. I think this is pointed back over towards the airport, so we're probably not going to see any lightning strikes in this particular camera view, but just off to the southwest, southwestern Bexar County, got a couple thunderstorms moving through. Now, of course, this all follows what was a slightly below average day in terms of our temperature. 64 was the low, 88 was the high. Average high for early June is 91. As we head into tomorrow, we're going to be pretty similar there as well. Here's the latest on some of the activity. We're still looking at southwestern Bexar County, northern Atascosa, even southern Medina and northern Frio counties. This is currently non-severe activity, but just to the northwest of Pearsall, this purple could be a little bit of nickel-sized hail that's slowly trying to work its way farther off to the southeast. So we'll have another full look at the radar, talk about these storms, plus what we can expect into your Sunday and even next week after the break.
Well, if you think back to last year, how dry and hot it already was, even a month ago, and now you look, we're in June and we're still talking about rain.
Yep, and rainfall totals throughout the month of May significantly better this year than what we saw in 2022 by over 3 inches, actually. So that definitely is the good news. And kicking off the month of June, of course, we had some noisy storms last night. And while it's not to that severity tonight, we do have still some rumbles of thunder out there creeping into far southern Bexar County as we speak. This is actually now crossing over 1604, this little downpour that's passed through the Somerset area. So that's going to head up closer to the Palo Alto area, 410 there on the south side. So we'll keep eyes on that, see how far north it is able to travel over the next hour or so. Pleasanton seeing a little downpour there near 281 as well as 37. We were talking about earlier how in northern Frio County with this activity just to the northwest of Pearsall, maybe a little bit of nickel-sized hail possible, but that does look to be on the weakening trend. Some of this now moving into far western Wilson County, even western Karnes County, approaching the Highway 181 corridor. And then for our friends out in Lavaca County, specifically near Moulton, again, we still have the far western edge of this severe thunderstorm that's capable of producing some wind gusts upwards of about 60 miles per hour, as well as some quarter-size hail. That's now moving into the far northern reaches of Lavaca County. County. So we're going to monitor that, also see how far south that is able to hold together and see if that warning gets extended to maybe include the Hallettsville area there as well. But other than that, throughout the remainder of the overnight, we'll see how this activity is able to sustain itself into tomorrow morning. Generally pretty isolated, a little bit more on the quiet side. But then as we head into the afternoon, still keep your afternoon plans, but have that plan B indoor option should you briefly need to move things inside and dodge a quick downpour. Because you can see this is 1 p.m. We start to see some of that widely scattered activity pop up. A few run-of-the-mill rain and thunderstorms expected. Severe weather is not expected with this into tomorrow, but we'll keep eyes on the radar for you. And then as we head into the evening, those rain chances come down, and that will be the theme through the overnight and into the early morning hours of our Monday. But this follows what we saw last night. Check out some of these area rainfall totals. 1.48 in Brackettville, 1.38 in Uvalde, just off to the east. Here in Bexar County, just under half an inch for the airport, stretching over to Kelly, 0.38 at Stinson, and half inch exactly in Adkins out there in the southeastern portions of the county. Very electric storms. We had a ton of photos just like this one sent into KSAT Connect. A lot of lightning in the sky, some cloud to ground lightning as well. They were definitely very noisy as they pushed through San Antonio. So into tonight, we'll monitor additional scattered rain and storms with the activity we already have in place right now. Into tomorrow, for those that don't tap into the rain in the afternoon, it is going to be hot and humid. Another high near 90 degrees. That widely scattered storm chance mainly in the afternoon. And then into next week, those daily isolated storm chances continue in the forecast. And because of that, highs are slightly below average in the upper 80s. So we'll continue to see how that temperature trend pans out into next week. But for now, we're in the 70s and even a few 80s, a little bit cooler for those that were able to tap into some of that rain-cooled air. Again, we'll start off tomorrow in the upper 60s, highs head for about 90, slightly cooler by a few degrees into the beginning of next week, but get ready because next weekend we look to start warming things right back up, guys.
I guess we can't be too disappointed. It is June.
It is, and I did not read my teas, so I don't know what Andrew's talking about.
Andrew's talking about sports, Tim.
I know sports, but I did not investigate enough.
It's not soccer, Tim, so I thought you would have put some effort into this one.
I was busy.
Okay. Well, anyway, when we come back, we're talking about the Texas Rangers, who picked up a huge win today, not just in terms of margin of victory, but also for manager Bruce Bochy. We'll hear from him on a significant accomplishment. Plus, San Antonio FC had a tale of two halves against San Diego Loyal SC. We'll show you the highlights and the lowlights next. The Texas Rangers entered this afternoon with a 2-game lead atop the American League West, hosting the Mariners. Rangers take control early in this one. Bottom of the first, game tied at 1. Not anymore. Jonah Heim drops a base hit into the gap in left. Corey Seager and Adolis Garcia both scored to give the Rangers a 3-1 lead after 1. Now Texas still up 6-3 in the top of the fourth with 2 on. Watch this. Heim flubs a throw to second to nab a runner, but the ball trickles right to Corey Seager, who gets it back to Heim for the final out of the inning. Just like you draw it up, 2-6-2 single play. And oh, by the way, the Rangers were absolutely raking today. Bottom 7, Marcus Semien. Bye, Felicia. That's a 3-run shot. Rangers take it 16-6 and rack up 19 hits. Now with the win, manager Bruce Bochy moves into a tie with Walter Alston for 10th all-time in managerial wins with 2,040. How does that feel?
Well, it's humbling. First of all, I mean, as a kid, you know, I watched the Dodgers quite a bit, and of course him, and so, you know, it just really amazes me that I'm still doing this, and to be even mentioned in the same name as Walter Alston. It's just so, as I said, humbling. But again, you know, those guys did all the work, and that's the way it is as a manager. You know, we're riding on the backs of those guys, and you know, I'm grateful that I've been able to do this as long as I have been.
Meanwhile, Astros looking to keep pace in the AL West tonight, hosting the Angels. This is going to help. Bottom 4, bases loaded. Alex Bregman sends that ball into orbit. A grand slam puts H-Town on top 7-1. They go on to win it 9-6. So Houston is still 2 games back behind the Rangers. Both will go for their series sweeps tomorrow. San Antonio FC continues their 3-game homestand tonight with a pivotal matchup against San Diego Loyal SC. The Alamo City Club wastes no time setting the tone in this one. 16th minute, off the cross, there's a mad scrum in the box. Bodies are everywhere. The ball winds up on Mitchell Tanner's foot, so he buries it in the back of the net. San Antonio takes a quick 3-0 lead, but in the 20th minute, Tani Oluwaseyi picks up his second yellow card of the game for taunting, so he's sent off, and San Antonio plays the final 70 minutes of the game a man down. And San Diego finally capitalizes, scoring 3 goals over the final 25 minutes, including the equalizer in stoppage time. San Antonio squanders that fast start, and they settle for a 3-3 draw. Speculation has turned to reality. A little over 24 hours after bidding farewell to UTSA on social media, wide receiver Zachary Franklin announced that he will head to Ole Miss. Franklin left a huge mark here with the Roadrunners as the all-time leader in catches, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns. He's also the only wide receiver in UTSA history to top 1,000 yards receiving in a single season, and he did it twice over the last 2 years. A reminder, the Roadrunners are bumping up to the American Athletic Conference this year. They will open their season on September 2nd at Houston. And all right, we head back to the majors to end this show for one of the weirdest walk-offs you have ever seen. Tigers and White Sox tied at 1 in the bottom of the 10th, bases loaded, and oh no! Jose Cisnero drills umpire Corey Blazer in the face mask. The ball ricochets away, and no one can find it as the winning run comes home. If the ball hits an ump, it's a live ball. Now, thankfully, he would be okay, but I can also guarantee you there are like hundreds and thousands of pitchers that wish they could have done that to an ump at some time during their career.
Oh, my God.
He might have been seeing stars after that.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, just a bit.
He got up real quick, though. That's what matters.
That's all you got to do. Pop up.
Pop it up.
We hope he's well tonight. Thank you, Andrew.
You got it.
We'll be right back.
All right, y'all, we are still monitoring these thunderstorms, not severe but noisy, that are still moving into southern Bexar County now in between 1604 and 410. That's going to move farther up to the north. So we're going to hop on the KSAT Weather Authority app shortly, do a little storm coverage there that does extend into Atascosa, Wilson, and even Karnes County there as well, with another thunderstorm still in Frio County approaching the Pearsall area. So we'll monitor this for you over the next few hours, then isolated storm chances next week, guys.
Don't stay too late.
All right. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.